General Hospital will reveal exciting details in the next 2 weeks from March 3 to 14, 2025. First, Jen Sidwell's arrival between March 3 and March 7 is set to unsettle Sasha at the Quartermaine mansion. His presence is not merely a coincidence but rather a calculated move, as he appears to hold some leverage over her. With a menacing demeanor, Sidwell subtly pressures Sasha into making a deal, leaving her shaken and fearful. The situation escalates when he hints that her unborn child could be at risk if she refuses to comply. Overwhelmed by anxiety and uncertainty, Sasha realizes she cannot handle this threat alone. Desperate for protection, Sasha turns to Jason, whose calm and composed nature provides her with a sense of security. Jason's instincts immediately tell him that Sidwell is a serious threat, and he steps in without hesitation. His presence reassures Sasha, allowing her to catch her breath amidst the growing fear. As he helps her navigate the looming danger, she begins to rely on him in ways she hadn't anticipated. Jason, in turn, finds himself growing more protective of Sasha, recognizing the vulnerability beneath her usually strong exterior. As the tension between Sasha and Sidwell intensifies, so does the bond between her and Jason. What starts as a matter of safety gradually evolves into something deeper, stirring emotions that neither of them fully expected. The lingering danger forces them to spend more time together, creating an undeniable connection. However, with Sidwell still lurking in the shadows, the stakes remain high. Sasha and Jason may be growing closer, but the threat against her is far from over, and their newfound closeness could come with unexpected consequences. Second, meanwhile, Lulu seeks out Damien Spinelli, hoping his expertise in uncovering hidden information will provide the answers she desperately needs. With Valentine and Charlotte seemingly out of reach, Lulu refuses to accept silence as an answer. She is determined to learn the truth about their whereabouts, and if Martin Gray is concealing anything, she intends to find out. Knowing Spinelli's unparalleled skills in digital surveillance and intelligence gathering, she turns to him as her best chance at uncovering what has been kept in the dark. Spinelli, always eager for a challenge, is intrigued by Lulu's request. He understands the delicate nature of the situation, particularly with Valentine's reputation and the Cassadine family's history of secrecy. As he sifts through encrypted files and traces potential leads, he begins to uncover hints that Valentine may have gone to great lengths to keep his location undisclosed. The deeper he digs, the more it becomes clear that there are layers of deception at play, perhaps even beyond what Lulu had anticipated. As the investigation unfolds, Lulu's determination only intensifies. Every new clue fuels her drive, but she knows that with each step closer to the truth, the risks also grow. If Valentine has gone to such extremes to disappear with Charlotte, then he likely has powerful allies protecting him. With Spinelli's findings leading her toward a path filled with uncertainty, Lulu braces herself for the possibility that confronting the truth may be more dangerous than she ever expected. Third, Drew wastes no time cornering Curtis at the Metro Court, his frustration boiling over as he delivers a pointed warning. After realizing that Curtis has been working against him, Drew refuses to stand by idly. With his back against the wall, he decides to fight fire with fire, making it clear that any betrayal will be met with equal force. Curtis may have believed he was in control of the situation, but Drew is prepared to play just as dirty to ensure he comes out on top. His retaliation sets off a chain reaction, pulling others into the fray, some knowingly, others completely unaware of the storm heading their way. Portia, believing she had successfully managed the situation with Brad, soon realizes that the ground beneath her is crumbling. Her worst fears take shape when she discovers that Brad has secretly handed over falsified test results to Selena Wu. This puts her in an impossible position, as Selena now possesses a piece of leverage that could shift the balance of power. True to form, Selena doesn't hesitate to exploit the situation, striking a deal with Drew that benefits both of them while leaving Portia scrambling for damage control. With everything slipping through her fingers, she is forced to consider desperate measures to protect herself and those closest to her. Ava, always one to offer unsolicited but often astute advice, attempts to guide Portia through the chaos. However, given Ava's own checkered past, Portia is left questioning whether trusting her judgment is the right move. Meanwhile, in Miami, Brad revels in his success, convinced that his plans are unfolding perfectly. With the pressure mounting on multiple fronts, the situation threatens to explode at any moment, leaving everyone involved vulnerable to unforeseen consequences. Fouth, Brad's trip to the medical conference had originally been about professional growth, but deep down, he had hoped it would also bring him closer to Lucas. The opportunity to reconnect had been lingering in his mind, and when Lucas subtly hints at the possibility of rekindling their romance, Brad is overjoyed. The idea of a fresh start with the man he never truly stopped loving fills him with hope, making it feel as if, for once, everything in his life is falling into place. However, beneath his excitement, a storm is brewing. As much as Brad wants to believe in a second chance with Lucas, the weight of his secrets becomes impossible to ignore. The tangled mess between himself, Portia, and Selena threatens to unravel, and he is left with a difficult decision. Should he come clean before things go any further with Lucas? Or should he take the risk and bury the truth, hoping it never resurfaces? The guilt gnaws at him, creating a moment of internal conflict that could determine the fate of his relationship before it even has a chance to begin. What Brad doesn't anticipate is Portia's growing desperation. Once she realizes the extent of his betrayal, she might take matters into her own hands. If she reaches out to Lucas and exposes everything before Brad has the chance to confess, it could shatter any hope of reconciliation. Forced to confront the truth under the worst possible circumstances, Brad may find himself watching his chance with Lucas slip away, destroyed not just by his own actions, but by the very secrets he had fought so hard to keep. Fifth, Carly's fury will reach a breaking point, her emotions simmering just beneath the surface before finally erupting. Whether it's Drew's increasingly reckless behavior or the disruption caused by Willow's decision to move into a new home, something will push her over the edge. The weight of recent events, compounded by lingering frustrations, leaves Carly feeling backed into a corner, forcing her to reassess her next move. Faced with a pivotal decision, Carly finds herself at a crossroads. Will she strike back at Drew, making him regret his actions, or will she allow herself to be swept up in the undeniable temptation that Brennan presents? The chemistry between them has been building, and the prospect of surrendering to that passion grows more enticing. Brennan, always ready to step in, is more than willing to help her unwind. He sees an opportunity not just to comfort Carly, but to strengthen their connection, offering her a distraction from the chaos consuming her life. However, their plans for a romantic evening quickly unravel. Just as Brennan prepares to set the stage for a much-needed escape, an unexpected disruption forces them apart. Whether it's Sidwell making a move or another unforeseen complication, Carly's night takes an abrupt turn. What should have been a moment of indulgence instead becomes another challenge to navigate, leaving her once again caught in a web of unfinished business and rising tensions. Sixth, Lulu's determination leads her to seek out Cody, convinced that he holds a key piece of information she needs. While the specifics remain unclear at first, her instincts tell her that Cody's connection to Dante and Brooke Lynn could unlock something significant. As she presses for details, she begins to suspect that there is more to their history than meets the eye. With her investigative instincts kicking in, Lulu starts piecing together a puzzle that may lead to a much bigger revelation. As she digs deeper, Lulu stumbles upon a shocking possibility: Brooke Lynn's past decision to give up a child as a teenager. The more she learns, the more she begins to suspect that Dante could be the father of that child. The timing, the secrecy, and the lingering tension between Brooke Lynn and Dante all seem to point in one direction. If her hunch is correct, it means Brooke Lynn has been keeping a life-altering secret from Dante for years. Lulu knows that if this is true, it could change everything, and she won't stop until she uncovers the full truth. Meanwhile, Brooke Lynn finds herself cornered, sensing that Lulu is closing in on something she never wanted to resurface. With no easy way out, she braces for the inevitable confrontation. Lulu, relentless as ever, is not one to back down, and when she finally gets Brooke Lynn alone, she doesn't hold back. Pushing for answers, she demands to know what Brooke Lynn has been hiding, forcing her into an impossible position. As tensions rise, Brooke Lynn must decide whether to come clean or continue protecting a secret that, if exposed, could send shockwaves through multiple lives. 7th, Sunny's growing tensions with Tracy reach a breaking point, setting the stage for a fiery confrontation between two strong personalities. Tracy, never one to back down, meets Sunny's intensity with her own sharp wit and unshakable confidence. Whether the conflict stems from a business disagreement or something more personal, neither is willing to yield. Meanwhile, Elizabeth finds herself in an unexpected position as she takes a moment to speak with Drew. Aware of how his actions have been spiraling, she urges him to reconsider his growing involvement with Portia. If Drew continues down this path, he could end up dragging others down with him, including Elizabeth, whose job could be at risk due to the escalating drama. Elsewhere, Willow crosses paths with Isaiah and quickly forms a friendship with him, appreciating his easygoing nature and kind heart. However, what starts as a casual bond soon takes an interesting turn when Isaiah finds himself drawn to Jordan. As sparks begin to fly, their dynamic becomes increasingly complicated, leaving the door open for potential conflict. If Isaiah and Jordan's connection deepens, it could lead to disagreements, misunderstandings, or even a romantic entanglement that neither of them fully expected. Meanwhile, Alexis receives an unexpected invitation to Windmere, which immediately raises suspicions. If the invitation comes from Sidwell, it's unlikely to be as straightforward as it seems. Under the guise of a professional matter, Sidwell may have ulterior motives, using the meeting as a way to manipulate Alexis into something far more dangerous. With his history of secrecy and deception, Alexis must tread carefully. One wrong move could place her in the middle of something far bigger than she realizes. 8. The week of March 10th to 14th could bring unexpected revelations, especially if Spinelli successfully gains access to Lulu's requested files on Martin. His persistence and technological expertise might finally crack open the guarded information, exposing hidden details that could change everything. As he sifts through the records, he stumbles upon something unexpected: notes regarding Giovanni Gio Palmieri. The connection between Martin and Gio seems obscure at first, but upon closer examination, Spinelli realizes that these notes were taken after a meeting with Lois. This discovery raises more questions than answers, prompting Lulu to dig even deeper. If these notes contain key details about Joe's past or a secret that Martin has been keeping, it could have major implications for multiple people in Port Charles. Given Lois's involvement, the mystery may stretch beyond just legal documents. It could tie into something far more personal. Lulu, always one to follow the trail of a developing story, grows even more determined to uncover what Martin has been hiding. The more she learns, the more she suspects that Joe's past is more intertwined with certain residents of Port Charles than anyone previously realized. As the search for the truth intensifies, the fallout could be far-reaching. If Martin has been keeping critical information under wraps, others might soon be pulled into the chaos. Lois, Gio, and even Spinelli himself could find themselves caught in a storm of unexpected consequences. What started as a routine investigation for Lulu may quickly spiral into something much bigger, leaving her questioning just how deep this mystery goes, and who might be trying to keep it buried. Finally, Nina has never been one to let an opportunity pass her by, and sooner or later, she will find a way to use Drew's vulnerabilities to her advantage. When she learns that Willow has agreed to move in with Drew, her determination to gain the upper hand only intensifies. Seeing Willow grow closer to someone who has been nothing but hostile toward her fuels Nina's competitive instincts. If she can find a way to expose Drew or put him in a compromising position, she won't hesitate to strike. With tensions already high, Nina's next move could set off a chain reaction that no one sees coming. As expected, the feud between Nina and Drew begins to spiral, escalating into something far beyond their usual clashes. What may have started as a strategic move soon becomes personal, with both of them pushing the limits of their rivalry. Drew, never one to back down, is just as determined to come out on top, making their battle all the more intense. Their conflict threatens to reach a breaking point, and when it does, the consequences will be explosive. Whether it's a professional power struggle or a deeply personal grudge, neither Nina or Drew is willing to concede, ensuring that the chaos between them will only grow. Meanwhile, Brad finds himself drowning in disappointment after losing what might have been his last chance with Lucas. The sting of regret hits even harder when he realizes that Lucas is now free to move on, possibly towards someone new. Watching Lucas embrace a fresh start while he is left behind only deepens Brad's misery. What should have been his moment of redemption has instead become a harsh lesson in missed opportunities. As Lucas steps forward into a new chapter of his life, Brad is left wondering if he has truly lost the one person who ever really understood him.